The story begins at the airport where Gi-hun, now sporting red hair, receives a call from the Squid Game organizers. They urge him to board a flight to reunite with his daughter. However, Gi-hun refuses and vows to track down the masterminds behind the games. Instead of leaving, he takes a taxi back to his city. Back in the city, Gi-hun suspects he's being tracked. He buys a knife, heads to a restroom, and locates a GPS chip implanted behind his ear. He cuts it out and disposes of it in water. The scene then shifts to Detective Junho. Although presumed dead after being shot by the frontman in Season 1, it's revealed that he survived. 2 years later, Junho has become a traffic constable. Despite losing credibility due to a lack of evidence, Junho still remembers that the frontman is his brother, In-ho. Gi-hun now lives in a discreet pink hotel heavily monitored by CCTV cameras. He enlists the help of his old loan shark, Kim, to track down the recruiter who played Dak-chi in Season 1. Kim uses his network of men to monitor train stations across the city. Gi-hun believes this month marks the recruiter's annual appearance, providing the best opportunity to catch him. Junho hasn't given up on uncovering the Squid Game island. Every week he ventures into the sea with a boatman, the same man who saved him after he was shot. Despite their efforts, the island remains elusive, hidden among hundreds of others. Kim and his men eventually spot the recruiter playing the Dak-chi game at a train station. The recruiter hands out invitation cards. Kim and his men follow the recruiter, who takes lottery tickets and buns to a park. There, he gives an offer to the poor. They can either take a lottery ticket or the food. Many choose luck over food, leaving the buns behind. In the end, the recruiter cruelly crushes all the buns under his feet right in front of them. The recruiter then takes a taxi and leaves. Kim and his associate Lee follow him, keeping Gi-hun informed. When Kim and Lee attempt to capture him, the recruiter single-handedly overpowers both of them. He kidnaps them and forces them to play a game called Rock, Paper, Scissors -1 in this game. Players must use both hands to choose their options, but when the recruiter says -1, they must put one hand behind their back. The loser is shot. The recruiter loads the revolver with 1 bullet and starts the game. After a few rounds, the recruiter raises the stakes by loading 5 bullets into the revolver. The game resumes and Lee chooses Rock with both hands, while Kim chooses Scissors and Paper. Kim has the chance to win by removing Scissors, but refuses to put either hand behind his back, violating the rules. Enraged, the recruiter shoots Kim for breaking the rules. Meanwhile, Gi-hun is fined for speeding and has an unexpected encounter with a detective. The detective investigates further and discovers that Gi-hun is also searching for the mysterious island. When Gi-hun arrives home, he finds the recruiter waiting for him. The recruiter challenges him to play Russian Roulette, a deadly game in which a single bullet is loaded into a revolver, and they take turns pulling the trigger on themselves. During their conversation, the recruiter reveals that his boss could easily have Gi-hun killed. After 3 tense rounds of the game, it's Gi-hun's turn, giving him a 50% chance of dying. At this moment, the recruiter offers an alternative. Gi-hun can shoot the recruiter, retrieve information about his boss from the recruiter's pocket, and end it all. However, Gi-hun respects the rules of the game and pulls the trigger as required. He survives. When it's the recruiter's turn, he follows his own rules and ends up shooting himself, dying in front of Gi-hun. Gi-hun retrieves a business card from the recruiter's pocket. At that moment, the detective arrives at Gi-hun's house and witnesses the aftermath of the recruiter's death. He tries to arrest Gi-hun, but Lee arrives and knocks the detective out with a fire extinguisher. Lee explains to Gi-hun that they've never met in person, but that he worked for him in the search for the recruiter. Gi-hun examines the business card, which leads to a club's address, while Lee cleans up the crime scene. The detective reveals he had met Gi-hun before during the Squid Games. He shares that he went to the island searching for his brother and even questioned Gi-hun about him. Gi-hun clarifies that he didn't kill the recruiter became a victim of his own twisted game. Gi-hun expresses his desire to stop the games and find the mastermind, known only as the frontman. The detective lies, claiming he never saw the frontman's face because he always wore a mask, though the frontman is actually his brother. The detective insists his ultimate goal is to end the games once and for all. The detective offers his help, and Gi-hun reluctantly accepts him into the team. Gi-hun leads them to another room where he keeps his cash, explaining his plans to use it to fight back. However, the detective and Lee make it clear they're not doing this for money. Gi-hun warns that the island is heavily guarded by armed troops and emphasizes the need for more weapons. To prepare, he reveals a hidden arsenal stocked with rifles and pistols. The arsenal even includes a shooting range set up in the motel. Gi-hun instructs the team to recruit more allies and suggests the detective quit his day job to fully commit to the mission. The scene shifts to a girl sleeping in her car in a parking lot near an amusement park. A security guard knocks on her window and asks what she's doing there, advising her to find a different place to park next time. The girl works as a mascot at the amusement park. During her shift, she approaches a little girl and gives her a lollipop. Later, during a break, the same little girl sneaks into the staff room, catching the mascots off guard and forcing them to quickly put their masks back on. The girl shows the bunny mascot her drawing and notices scars on the mascot's wrists. After the little girl is taken away by her father, one of the mascot actors explains that the girl is the daughter of a caricature artist and is battling blood cancer. She urgently needs a bone marrow transplant, but finding a match has been extremely difficult. the girl visits a broker, where it is revealed that she escaped from North Korea to South Korea. However, her daughter is still in North Korea. Later that night, some unknown individuals approach her and hand her a Squid Game card. Lee assembles a team of highly trained soldiers, while Gi-hun places a tracker in his tooth for safety. Using the address he got from the recruiter, Gi-hun arrives at a location coinciding with Halloween night, where everyone is dressed in costumes. He instructs his team not to take any action without his orders. At the club, Gi-hun is led by some men to a car where someone communicates with the front man through a device. Using the tracker, the detective and the rest of the team follow the car but are intercepted by Squid Game soldiers. Inside the car, Gi-hun tries to reason with the front man, urging him to stop the games. The frontman coldly explains that these games are only played with the discarded trash of society and advises Gi-hun to stay away for his own good. However, Gi-hun cleverly proposes a strategy. He asks to be taken back into the games. The frontman agrees and releases knockout gas into the car, rendering Gi-hun unconscious and taking him back to the arena. In the final scene, we see the amusement park girl inside a truck, suiting up in a soldier's uniform, preparing to join the games as one of the guards. This is it for episodes 1 and 2 of Squid Game Season 2. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to Film Flare for upcoming recaps of the series.